Okay, so now that the pallets all been made and prepped, we're going to move on to the really gross stuff that we're going to add to this. This is what I call a zombie hand arm. As you can see, it's pretty gross. Skin's coming off. Looks pretty awesome. I've actually been driving around with this in my car, which is hilarious. So we will move on with the video and I will show you how to create a zombie hand, which you can put into any position that you like, and it looks pretty good and gross. Okay, sorry about that, I had a bit of an issue with the camera. Okay, if you can see that we're starting to build that up, starting to get that hollow, you get the hollow in your hand here, so that's looking pretty good. So we'll just continue building that up, and yeah. Okay, so now we're up to the plastering stage, and just a reminder, we're using the plaster cloth wrap from the Wonthaggi discount store, and what we need to do is just, it comes in a roll, so we'll just cut it up into smaller pieces. When we get to the fingers we will be cutting that a lot thinner, but at the moment I'm just going to be doing the arm and working on the hand part. So here we go. This part can be very messy, so it's good to not do it on a good table. I like to do it out here in the shed on my work table, so it doesn't really matter if I make a mess. Just start by doing one layer. Make sure that you do spread that plaster as best you can and rub it onto the paper tape. Make sure you get a good wrap around with that, so it all comes together. It says on the packet to use warm water, Reason being is because if you want it to set really, really quickly, warm water's the way to go. I choose to sometimes just use cold water, because if I am not quick enough with spreading this out, it'll start to set and it's very hard to smooth it as much as you can to cover the whole thing. So just overlap, just like that. You can see that. I'm just overlapping it. Just so when it sets, it will set like it's one piece. Some more strips, but as you can see they're thinner. Now we're going to work on the fingers. Dry, we can do another layer on that. Okay, so I've done a second coat of plaster on the hand and the arm and the fingers, and what I've done once that's dry is get some Montmartre Gesso Universal Primer. This comes from the Montague discount store, and I also got some of these. They are lollipop sticks, but they're bendable because they're made out of like a tightened, wound up paper, cardboard stuff. These can be used for the tendons on the back of the hand, which I've built up a little bit with the plaster, and they'll go along there from the knuckle into the wrist. You can also put, if you want to, some here on the wrist as well, like I've done with this one. You can see that. It's like an open saw where you can see the tendons. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so with the gesso you just want to give that a good coat. That will help with the paint sticking to the plaster. So once that's all dry, we can move on to painting that, and I'll show you what paint I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using it's acrylic, and it's Hooker's dark green, also from the One Thaggy discount store. And for a lighter green I'm using this acrylic paint. And let's begin painting and see how it goes. I'm going to use the dark green first. So now that we've painted the dark green on, I'm going to get some of the light green. And just a piece of sponge, and just mix some of that to make a lighter colour, so we can sort of blend that onto the hand. Blotched all that up, ready for the next step. Okay, for the next step with putting the tendons in, I'm going to bend that to the shape of how you need it. I'm just going to break a hole so I can lift that up. Do the same here. Okay, so we need it about, it's very hard. See where the paint is actually peeling? I like to let that go because then we can put some red, turn them into swords. So that works pretty well. I'll just put the to creating the skin on this hand now. So what I use for the skin is just some drop sheets, plastic drop sheets. They're really thin, and we will be putting a heat gun on that after we've wrapped the hand up, and just slowly heating that up to melt the plastic, shrink it down onto the hand. So this is what the drop sheet looks like. So we just put that on. You can make it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. I like to try and just wrap it around so you get the whole thing covered as best you can. We can rip some of this off. And just tack it down with a little bit of hot glue. Just be very careful because the glue will melt through this plastic when you go to push it down. So just push it down lightly so you don't burn your finger. Just wrap that. You only need a little bit of glue because it will melt. You just need to tack it on. Okay, so now we have, this is just a small craft heat gun. It's supposed to be for paper craft, but it'll do exactly the same thing as what we want it to do. And we just want to slowly shrink this plastic down. Don't hold it on too long because it'll just burn the plastic and it'll just melt away. See what's happening? It's starting to melt down over the hand. Now, as you're melting it down slowly, if you do get these breaks in the plastic, that's okay because that's where we get this sort of openings like this. As you melt the plastic down, it will get thicker, and you can have random saws on it, which is really good. I think that's looking pretty good. These pieces here, just here, you can see. I'll just give them a bit of a snip. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. You can see it's all melted in these pieces where it's broken open. Where we're going to be making these sawy parts, the broken open. So now that that's done, we'll move on to the next part of discolouring this skin so it looks old and dry and yucky. Just a bit of wood stain. And we'll just get either a cloth or something, get some of that on and dab it all over, leave it for a couple of minutes and then just get another cloth and wipe it off, and yeah, we'll see what it looks like when we've done that. Okay, so some of these makeup pads, you could even use those to dab into the stain to put onto the skin. I might just use this. I recommend using gloves for this if you don't want to get it all over your hands. I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to hold it with this cloth. To get in between the fingers here, cotton bud. We'll just start dabbing that all over the hand. The reason for painting underneath green is because when you do rub this off, you get that greeny tinge through it. Get your this if you want to dry it a little bit quickly, and it'll just tighten up that plastic a little bit. Okay, so that's looking pretty dry. working on some of this area here. To painting the raw flesh on this hand where the skin's broken open, all these places on the back of the hand and wherever the plastic sheet that we've melted on has broken open. So we're going to use some permanent red. I like to use a bit of a bigger brush when I first start off. It's not overly huge, but just so we can get in there, and you can make it lumpy and bumpy. It doesn't have to be smooth. Make sure that you get under the plastic, which is the skin. Go under there a bit. I like to just dab it on so it gets that thicker and thinner blobby look to it. Get it blobbed on the skin around the edges. That's good. So underneath the skin. Adding some of the darker red to that to make it look more like this. And that right there is one disgusting looking zombie hand. And then once that's dry, just get some of the gloss. Just brush it on to the areas where you've got the blood, so that's the shiny part. And there you go. Thanks for watching, guys, and persevering with this video. So there's the pallet that I've made in my workshop here. You can make as many of these hands as you like, however position you like, and you can put that on a wall, decorate it, do whatever you like with it. Stick them in the ground if you want, and they look awesome. Hope you have a great next Halloween.